Dear students, I shall discuss with you a very important chapter from your English textbook. The name of the chapter is Going Places by A.R. Barton. A.R. Barton is a modern writer who lives in Zurich. The theme of the story Going Places is adolescent fantasizing and hero worship. So before we start discussing the story, let me tell you the meanings of some tough words which you will find written at the very start of the story. So here we go. The first word mentioned is incongruity, which means unsuitableness. The second word is prodigy, which means a young person with an exceptional qualities. Third word is chuffed, which means delighted. The fourth word is solitary elm, which means a lonely elm tree. The next word is arcade, which means a carried passageway with shops or stalls on either side. The next word is ember glow, which means yellow light. The next word is ref, which means platform for mooring ships to load and unload. And the last word is pangs of doubt, which means sudden feelings of doubt. Well, this story has got many important characters. Students, you must know about the characters before you move on to the discussion of the story. The main character, that is the protagonist of the story, is Sophie. She is a school-going teenager girl who always lives in her world of imagination, and also she always dreams of big and beautiful things. The second character is Jancy. She is a friend and a classmate of Sophie. She is a very practical and realistic girl who lives in a world of reality. Geoff is Sophie's elder brother who is also a motor mechanic. Derek is the younger brother of Sophie. The next character is Danny Casey. He is an Irish football player who plays for the team United. The next character is Tom Finney. He is also a famous footballer. The next two important characters are Sophie's father and mother. Sophie's father is a very hardworking person who works day and night to make both ends meet. Sophie's mother is also a very hardworking person who works throughout the day in her home because of financial issues. Her physical appearance in the text is shown as her back is bent because of excessive housework activities. These are the important characters you must keep in mind, which will help you in understanding the chapter better. Well, now let us come to the introductory part of the chapter. Going Places, the story which we shall discuss, is about teenager and their dreams. Far away from reality, the teenage period is actually a period in which the desire is too much. The desire to reach the sky, the desire to do the undone, the desire to reach the sky and see the unseen also. At this age, most teenagers have a hero whom they always worship. Well, the title of the story, Going Place, here is suitable and appropriate because the protagonist of the story, Sophie, is a daydreamer who travels to different places in her imagination. This story starts with Sophie and Jancy, the two school-going teenager girls, were coming back home from school. While walking, Sophie told Jancy that after school she was going to have a boutique. Now, what is a boutique? Boutique is a small shop or a store which sells fashionable clothes and accessories. Jancy looked doubtful hearing Sophie because she knew well that Sophie was from a middle class family, and to open a boutique it required a large amount of money, and it's impossible for Sophie to open a boutique because it required a lot of money to open a boutique. Sophie said that she could manage that amount of money to open a boutique. Now, how? She told Jancy that she will work as a manager to earn money. Jancy told her that no one would straightway make her manager. However, she did not stop her imagination. She continued her imagination and told again Jancy that she would be like Mary Quant. She would have the most amazing shop in the city. Now there is a question, who is Mary Quant? Mary Quant is an English fashion designer and a fashion icon. Well, Jancy knew very well that she and Sophie both were marked to work in a biscuit factory because they come from a middle class family. Hearing Jancy, she became sad and wished that Sophie did not say such kind of thing. She told Sophie to be sensible, to be practical, because her father even would not allow her to open a boutique because her father is a hardworking, practical person. He easily can differentiate between reality and imagination. Now we see Sophie change her track quickly. She said that, well, then she would become an actress because there is real money in it. Now how? Because according to her, actresses do not work whole day. If she could become an actress, she would keep her job of a boutique as side business, and together she can earn a huge amount of money. Well, Sophie did not again stop her imagination. She alternatively said that she would become a fashion designer also, and she would become a very stylish fashion designer. Well, keeping in mind all these points about Sophie, we can easily come to the conclusion that Sophie is not aware of the realities of life. She is continuously going on imagining big and beautiful things which are absolutely not possible for her to achieve. Leaving Jancy on the road, Sophie entered her house. Entering her house, Sophie uttered in a loud voice that if ever she could save money, she would buy a boutique. Her father, who was having his food, told her that if any day she could save money, she first should purchase a good house for them to live in. Derek, that is the younger brother of Sophie, who was standing at the back of his father's chair, remarked that Sophie, her sister, thought that it's very easy to earn money, which actually is not, because he could well understand that for Sophie it's almost never possible to open or buy a boutique. Their mother, who was seen working in a very small room in their house. The room was very dirty, smoke was coming out from the stove, some dirty clothes were kept on one side of the room, some dirty utensils are also kept on the other corner of the room. This shows the dirty atmosphere of their house. Because of smoke coming out from the stove, Sophie felt a tightening in her throat, and so she moved to the other room looking for Geoff, who was her elder brother. Geoff was an apprentice mechanic, and also he traveled to faraway place of the city in search of work every day. Geoff was seen doing some work with a part of his motorcycle. Sophie, we know well, was a very imaginary girl. She wanted to move to the workplace of Geoff every day with him, and so she insisted Geoff to take her every day to the place to where he go for work. Geoff was also a realistic person. He thought Sophie was immature girl whom he did not like to take her to travel with her. Sophie then told Geoff that she had met Danny Casey in the arcade. Geoff asked her whether she had told this to her dad. He also further asked her how Danny Casey looked like. She told that Danny Casey had green eyes, gentle eyes, and he was also not that tall. Geoff then told this to his father. Their father became very disappointed and warned Sophie about speaking this rubbish. Here is an interesting point. We see the imagination level of Sophie here is at its height, because Danny Casey is an Irish footballer who can be said as a celebrity. For a simple and middle class girl like Sophie, it is almost impossible for her to meet Danny Casey. But she continuously goes on telling people that she met Danny Casey, which is her imagination. Next, we see in the room of Geoff, a large poster of the Team United was pasted on the wall. What is Team United? Team United is a team of football in which Danny Casey played for. So, in that poster which was pasted on Geoff's room, the photograph of Danny Casey was also there. Geoff saw that picture. Sophie also pointed out that picture and said him that the day when she met Danny Casey, that day neither of them had any pen or paper, so she could not take an autograph from Danny Casey. Sophie further added that Danny Casey has asked her to come and meet him another day to get the autograph. The point here is very funny. You see the condition of Sophie. She is lost in the dream of Danny Casey. He is an icon. He is a celebrity. How possible that a celebrity asked a lower middle class girl to come and get an autograph for her? the point here is almost impossible. And so here we again can prove that the imagination level of Sophie is at its peak. On Saturday, the family of Sophie went to watch a football match of Team United. In that match, Sophie's hero, Danny Casey, he scored the second goal and his Team United won the match. Sophie and her family was very happy for this outcome. Next week, Sophie met Jency. After meeting Jency asked her about her meeting with Danny Casey, and Sophie was confused that how come Jency know about her meeting with Danny Casey. She then got to know that it was Geoff who had discussed this with Jency, and she became sad and disappointed because she did not want to spread this information anymore because she was afraid of her father. But later on, she was little bit relaxed that Jency did not know the proper information about her meeting with Danny Casey. After dark on that day, she walked through the canal and she moved to a very lonely place and a very beautiful place where she was seated and she was waiting for her hero, that is Danny Casey, to come and meet her. She waited for some time, imagining his coming. But later on, she could know that Danny Casey was actually not coming, and she was very heartbroken, disappointed, and sad. She then started to go walk home alone. While going home, she could see her father's bicycle near a pub. Her father went to the pub to celebrate the victory of his team United. While walking, Sophie imagined how she met her hero, that is Danny Casey, once. She became nostalgic, we can say. She was continuously remembering how did she meet Danny Casey and all. Actually, we are aware that Sophie did not meet Danny Casey in real, in anywhere. It was all her imagination that she met Danny Casey once. The most important point Sophie remembered about Danny Casey was the football match. The football match was the only moment, was the only instance, we can say, in which she could see Danny Casey in person. The sound of claps, the sound of joy, all those claps, all those sounds she could only hear. Those sounds were disturbing her ears. Those sounds she could only hear from the football field, which she thought, or rather we can say, which she told that she will keep those sounds in her mind, or rather in her ear, and live life keeping the memories of her hero in her mind forever. Here we come to the conclusion of the story. Now, the point which is to be noted here is about teenagers and their dreams. Mostly the dreams which the teenagers dream are very unrealistic. In most of the times we see the teenagers, they suffer a lot. They suffer too much because of their unrealistic dreams which they can never achieve, and they are pained for dreaming such unrealistic dreams. Here is, in this context, we can compare this with Sophie. Sophie's dreams were very unrealistic, and because of which she suffered a lot at the end of the story. Thank you.